great for rising. Keep on churning till the butter comes. You know, the band plays on and on and on. For years, we've heard the call to boycott this, don't buy from that. And you know, boycotting has its place. But we rarely ask, if ever, what's next? What's now? We boycotted, what now? What are we building, or what do we have already built to replace what we're boycotting? You know, as long as I've been in this world, we've been withdrawing our dollars from systems that we say mistreat us, and sometimes rightfully so. But we haven't spent nearly enough time, not enough time creating systems that sustain us. We'll complain about systems systematically destroy us, but we don't talk about and act upon systems that will sustain us. Now, in this podcast, I'm going to talk about something that we don't discuss often enough. What now? We've boycotted. What now? You see, we're powerful. Our dollars show that. Our dollars are powerful, but they don't help us if we don't use them toward us. We got to be intentional enough, just like we're intentional when we boycott. Or boycotts are organized, a lot of them. The Montgomery boycott, when Dr. Jamal Bryant said we were going to boycott Target, that was very well organized. So we put a lot of time and energy into organizing and boycotting. But where's the energy put into planning and building? That's why our victories, if you want to call them that, they're just temporary. And they don't transform anything. They're not transformative. Listen to this, and I'll be back.
Walmart. Well, I want to thank black folks for doing really well, for not supporting Walmart or Target. We're doing pretty good. I'm sure there's some people still going in to buy shit. I get it. But overall, black folks, I think we're doing pretty good. You guys, you let me know if I'm wrong or not. All right. But I think we're doing pretty good in our boycott exercises. We're getting good at it. You know why? Because a lot of us have plenty of clothing. We have enough food. We have enough, a lot of shit. A lot of times when you look around your place, whether it's your house or apartment, you go, I need to get rid of a lot of stuff, right? So when we talk about boycotting and banning, it's not that as hard as we think it is. It really isn't as hard as we think it is, all right? Now, if you're really down and out, okay, we get it. But most of us have enough shit, you know? And Walmart is at it again. Walmart decided to, I guess they're making these Nazi t-shirts with, it's like the Hitler salute, right? And then it has a black fist, right? And so it's like this, superimposed, and it's like paper always wins over fist. So the black power fist over the Nazi thing is like scissors, rock, paper, which is, I gotta give him credit. That's pretty slick. That was pretty funny. I mean, it's kind of funny. You know, you go like this. That's kind of funny. But you guys continue your good racist work, Walmart. You think you're slick, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, we're sorry, we never, go f off. You can stick that way up your ass, you understand? And just continue to not buy from Walmart, them, you understand? And guess what? A black middle finger goes right through the paper, though.
You know, as far back as I can remember, black people have always been boycotting here, there, this, that, wearing our shoe leather, being abused, all these things. But one thing I noticed, even then, there was never a follow-up. I never saw a follow-up. You're boycotting, now what? You boycott businesses, but you don't build a business. So let's go beneath the crust, and we're going to go in search of sanity on boycotting. Now, I wasn't born when the Montgomery Bus Boycott was in effect, but I remember hearing about it. You know, I remember hearing about the Montgomery Bus Boycott, all the abuse they took to try to integrate the bus system. But you know what I didn't hear? I didn't hear about a bus line being established there in Montgomery. I never heard that. And even as a little girl, when I started hearing about these things, I used to always think, well, how come we don't have our own? I thought that way as a little girl. Why don't we have our own bus company? Or why didn't we have our own bus company? It didn't make sense to me then, and it doesn't make sense to me now. Why do we spend all this time and effort trying to force people to take our money when we can take our money and build our own? One of the things that I would hear people saying when I was little and hearing it now, and people, you know how long ago that's been? The Montgomery Bus Boycott was 1955. Where's our bus line now? But anyway, what they were, we would not fund our own oppressors. We're going to take our dollars and not fund our own oppressors. But listen, so what we would do is we'd take our money from one oppressor, take that money to another oppressor. I mean, it was crazy to me. The churches, how we would just force ourselves in these white churches when we had our own churches. But I'll get more into that in a minute. So come on beneath the crust while we go in search of sanctity on boycotting. Now what? You boycotted? Now what? What? Black folk, we have shown our ability to mobilize. We have shown our ability to organize. We have shown our ability to withhold our dollars. And we all do this in the name of justice, in the name of fair treatment. But what now? See, that's always missing. It seems like when we do things, the what now is missing. So we have boycotted Target. Now we're boycotting Walmart. Now what? It doesn't make sense for us to keep doing the same thing over and over. That's called insanity. So come on, let's go in search of sanity. You can master almost anything or anybody if you just know the pattern. And that's our pattern. Our pattern is we get out there in force, boycotting, marching, and then nothing. Nothing. Our pattern repeats itself, from decade to decade. We withdraw our dollars, but rarely, if ever, do we take those dollars and put them toward our own institutions. Rarely ever, or if ever. See, if you're boycotting, but you're not building, you're just making noise. What did James Brown said? You're just talking loud. And you're saying nothing. Talking loud and saying nothing. It's not just about resisting, because what are we resisting, really? It's not just about resisting. It's about reconstruction, rebuilding. And when we boycott, we say where our dollars won't go. But I don't hear nothing about where our dollars should go. We're going to do another boycott. Now what? You know, I often talk about if you treat your cause, you'll find your cure. Well, boycotting is treating signs and symptoms. Reconstruction and rebuilding is treating the cause. You see, the reason we have to keep going into these stores that we call our oppressor stores, because we don't have none of our own to go into. Treat your cause. That's the cure. Economic independence is the cornerstone of real freedom. I want to say that again. Economic independence is the cornerstone of real freedom.
We've got to strengthen black institutions. I call upon you to take your money out of the banks downtown and deposit your money in Tri-State Bank. We want a bank-in movement in Memphis. Go by the Savings and Loan Association. I'm not asking you something that we don't do ourselves in SCLC. Judge Hooks and others will tell you that we have an account here in the Savings and Loan Association from the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. We are telling you to follow what we are doing. Put your money there. You have 6 or 7 black insurance companies here in the city of Memphis. Take out your insurance there. We want to have an insurance in. Now, these are some practical things that we can do. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. And I ask you to follow through here.
Did you hear what Dr. King said? Dr. King said, apply pressure while you're building. Apply pressure while you're building. So, black man, we can chew gum and walk at the same time. The reason I said that about chewing gum and walking at the same time, because so many times when you're doing something as a black person, another black person will say something like, look like you ought to be. If you're out here fixing somebody's spare tire, look like they would be over there helping that old lady cross the ditch. It's something like we feel like we can only do one thing at the same time. But no, we can do multiple things and get multiple results at the same time. You know what Dr. King is talking about here? Economic independence. That's one of the things that's missing for us, economic independence. He said to build black businesses. He's talking about building institutions, strengthen black institutions. And he said, notice he said, follow my lead. Follow my lead. In other words, we're already doing this. Now, Dr. King talked about the promissory note. Dr. King talked about boycotting. But Dr. King was real clear about self-sufficiency and how it was essential to the movement. Malcolm X talked about the economic philosophy of black nationalism. He said that means we should own and operate and control the economy of our community. Now, Dr. King said that also. Each one of these people understood, these men understood that you can't be free if you're financially enslaved. The black community spends over $1 trillion a year. That means we have over $1 trillion in buying power. But much, if not most, of our money, it goes away from us as opposed to coming toward us. We, black men, we have the capacity to transform our neighborhoods. We can make them into thriving commerce centers, education centers, innovation. We complain about food deserts. Where's our grocery store? All this is going to require us to make a shift in our mindset. It's going to require us to stop being reactive and be proactive. Because, boycotting, that's a reaction. From reaction to proaction. From protest to production. From consumer to owner. Now what? That's my question. Now what? You see, a boycott is not bad. It's not a bad thing. But that's the start of something. Many times as black people, and I'm black enough to say this, we have a lot of beginnings, but we don't have a destination in sight. So now what? Here again, we're going to be boycotting. Now what? A boycott should ignite us, as it were. It should make us where we say, you know what? I'm motivated now. And I'm going to build something better, something that's ours. You see, we must build the grocery stores that feed us, the schools that teach our history, the banks that invest in our dreams, and the media platform that tells our truth. You see, until we move beyond boycotting and start building, the band plays on. The vicious cycle continues. Because everything we do benefit everybody except us. Even the boycotting. You're going to boycott over here and you're going to go over there, but it's still your oppressor. They still feel the same way about you. And so many times now, so many stores come under the same umbrella. So you take your money from A and you're going to go to B, C, and D. But guess what? A owns B, C, and D. It's like spitting into the wind. Oh, and my apologies to you genteel ladies. Oh, and by the way, any lady who doesn't spit is a nasty broad. But that's a whole nother podcast. But listen, what I'm saying here, When all is said and done, boycotting is just the beginning of, I guess you could say, half of the story. The real work begins when we decide to build what we're saying we need. Build what we say people are discriminating against us just for us to have it. See, if we want to build generational strength, if we want true independence, if we want our communities to stand tall long after the protest signs are put away, then we must invest in ourselves with the same energy we use to resist others. Invest in ourselves with the same energy that we use to protest against other people. The future we say we want for ourselves and for our children, the presence we say we want for ourselves and our children, it's not going to come from us like they're boycotting, if that's all we're going to be doing. It will come when we do more creating than we do boycotting. Because, see, if we had our own stuff, we wouldn't have to boycott these people. We wouldn't have to be out here talking about boycotting Walmart if we had our own stuff. So be encouraged. And while you're being encouraged, stay intentional and let's move from reaction to proaction. Let's move from destroying ourselves to reconstruction. Our children, ourselves, and our legacy depend on it. Black man, black folk, you boycotted and stopped at that. Why did you do it? I'm Lily Bell. I'm just trying to create a dialogue. And if they close my book, you remember my story. You tell my story. Be encouraged. Subscribe, comment, like, and share. Support our youth in any way you can. Keep on churning till the butter comes. Albert C. Richardson, a black man, patent the butter churn U.S. patent number 446470, February 17th, 1891. I'm Lily Bell. I'm just trying to create a dialogue. I leave you with this. If they close my book, you remember my Nat Turner Runner production. Lock and load. Lily Bell. Be encouraged.